Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Age of Mythology Kaiser Cup. I am your host, the Iron Kaiser, here at Iron Kaiser Gaming, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the first ever tournament in Age of Mythology's history since the release of Age of Mythology Retold. 8 players, all hailing from the Iron Kaiser Gaming Discord server, the Iron Realm, are battling it out in a bracket to see who will be king in the land of the gods. In game 1, we have, in the purple, BigZander, playing as Gaia, versus, in the yellow, Captain1Markus, playing as Odin. Now, this is a very interesting tournament. There's no real seeding as far as skill levels go. I know many of the players that are playing in this tournament are brand new to the game. I had a couple of guys say, hey, listen, I've barely got enough time to crank out the tutorial before I get into it. Some of the players have background with Age of Mythology, some do not. Now, this is not an Age of Empires Noob Cup. If you're a longtime fan of the channel, you know that I have hosted here on the channel Age of Empires Noob Cups in the past, where a series of players who all have limited experience battling it out in a multiplayer context come head-to-head in a tournament, and we crown a champion in that realm. It's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite things I've ever done on this channel are the Noob Cups. I started the channel with Noob Cup 1. This is not a Noob Cup, although BigZander in the purple did play in our previous Age of Empires 3 Noob Cup. So it's great to see him back in action. We'll see how well he does in this tournament. But not necessarily the case. Captain1Markus, I do believe, has some experience with Age of Mythology, and as we go through the tournament, some of our players will have stronger connection to the history, the legacy of Age of Mythology. This should be an interesting battle. This is a best of 3 series, and the rules are kind of interesting. Number 1, the maps are always randomized. Whatever, you get to pick your civilization, pick your god, but the map you spawn in on is going to be random. So you got to think on the fly and adapt your strategies accordingly. The second thing that's interesting is within a series, you may only pick a god one time, and if you win game 1, for example, you may not pick any other god from that pantheon or that civilization again. So, for example, let's say that Xander wins with Gaia. No matter what, he can't play with Gaia anymore. But if he wins, he cannot play any other Atlantean civ either. He is forced to go to another civilization. Whereas, again, in this scenario, if Marcus loses, he can't play Odin, but he is allowed to play Loki or Thor or Freyr. So, those are sort of the interesting rules in the background. Looking at the match, Xander is taking advantage of the superior Gaian economy. He's got a little bit of an eco lead here as we're entering into the 3.5 minute mark. But notice that Odin is already halfway up to age 2. He's moving very quickly. Gaia focusing instead on the eco front. The Gaia Force spawned in. This is an interesting bonus. I'm not sure of all of the complexities. And maybe somebody in the comments would like to jump in and explain just how useful the Gaia Force is, or theoretically could be. I say on a map like this, resources, especially vegetation like wood, is low. So this is actually a really nice pick for Xander here. I think the map works in in Gaia's favor in that way. But normally, I'm not sure how useful the Gaia Force actually is. It's interesting. Meanwhile, almost like a counter pick. I'm not sure if this was... I doubt this was what was in Marcus's head. But he goes with Freya as his, classical age god pick. And Freya's ability, Forest Fire, is like, I don't like you, Gaia. Burn! That's the choice there. So... it'll be interesting to see how this power interacts with the Gaia trees. Is it going to do the same thing as the palm trees? We'll find out.
Skipan.
Valkyries. A very cool myth unit. Warrior Maid that can heal allied units. So it's kind of I think maybe a cav unit's a little stronger than average, but the big thing is you do have that healing power. Healing in Age of Mythology is hard to come by. Unless you're the Egyptians, you know, you can get out priests and they heal pretty easily. It's kind of an Egyptian civilization bonus. But other than that, if you want healing for your units, you really have to go out of your way to make the right god picks or pick up the right technologies. It's not as readily available as it is in other Age of Empire games. Alright, I'm noticing a little bit of an interesting development here. Gaia still has the superior economy, 22 to 21. So just, you know, edging out, like head above water, doing better economically. The edges for Gaia. But militarily, Odin has some serious strength right now. 20 military units on the field. This Oracle will not last long. And remember, for the Atlanteans, in Retold, it's not the case in the OG Age of Mythology, but in Retold, Oracles not only provide vision, they are also the source of Atlantean favor. So right now... Oh, that's the wrong... Hold on, let me see if I can do this. There we go. We have a single Oracle that is providing favor for the Atlanteans right now. So this is going to be a little tricky. Neither Civ can generate... Let me back up. The Norse Civ cannot generate favor very effectively from a passive point of view. The Norse generate favor by fighting. Right? You have kind of that Valhalla, you know, Viking raid mentality as the Vikings, whereas the Norse. So you need to fight to get favor. The Atlanteans can get a lot of favor, and it looks like
Bureg.
The right idea for Xander, getting out more oracles to keep the favor protection going, especially if you want to pick up those automatons. We'll talk about that in a second. You do need to make sure, if you're playing as the Atlanteans, spread out your oracles, because right here you have two oracles side by side. They generate favor, but if they are overlapping each other, they only count as one. The vision is based on, or the favor is based on the vision that you are providing. So you definitely want to spread out your units in order to get that favor. By the way, I gotta call this out too. So Xander goes with Leto as the Age 2 god pick. And I love this pick. Let me back up. I really like these, specifically the Automaton. I think the Automaton is one of the coolest myth units in the game, just thematically. This is my jam. Yes! Living metal men, attack my metal soldiers. Command and conquer until it is done. However, in my experience so far, and it might be that I'm a bad player, I have not been able to make the automatons work. They have melted in just about every battle I've sent them into, and that's a regular battle, let alone a battle against these myth units, the Hersir. They are, of course, as hero units, great units at taking out and killing myth units. So, unfortunately, Gaia's army just collapses and goes down. Yes. I actually don't know why Markus is pulling back and retreating here. But we do have... There's still a little bit of an eco lead for Gaia, to be fair. Credit where it's due. But right now, the military is undoubtedly... Huh, okay, here's our forest fire. Notice how the Gaia trees did not burn there. But, no, that's weird. The trees do burn over here. The Gaia trees, same power. Gaia trees are burning over here, but not over there. I wonder if they're, like, not connected or something. There was, like, some gap that's keeping these from burning. I don't know if it was a coincidence or if Markus was just big braining over here, but I think it was a really cool idea to pick up forest fire on this map where wood is so sparse and it's so, you know, wood will be so valuable as the game goes along. in this matchup. I think that you got to do something with the army here. I'm not liking it. What do we have? Let's switch over to Mark's point of view. We've got 3 Valkyrie. What are you even supposed to do? I guess maybe I would just mass up loads of spearmen, right? You got and then just hope that Marcus just takes that fight. So the spearmen kill the raiding calves, they kill the Valkyries. They actually should overwhelm the Heresier. I mean, you've got to buy yourself time to mass up army numbers of your own. Maybe throw down some walls or something just to slow them down and give your eco more time to try to even out the fight. You could also try building a second town center, but you already know, you shouldn't do that. In a world where you already are so militarily outclassed, you've got to get army numbers up. It's just that simple. And what you don't want to do... See the spider eggs. Alright. So, I don't think I've ever seen the spider eggs used correctly. Like, I'm talking about... Like, I've never been able to make them work. What am I missing? Is this like a trap now, or... How do the eggs work? I don't know. I see them get thrown down and then just disappear. I think I'm missing something when it comes to the spider eggs. I also need to look up the lore behind Leto, because I don't see the connection between automatons and spider eggs. But that's just me. The barracks goes down.
Skip
away. All right, he's on that. On these vills. And right now, yeah, here's the army attacking, right? Well, that right there is what Xander needed. So one of two things has happened there. Either Marcus, or maybe let's say one of 3 things. Either Marcus is throwing Xander a bone, Marcus is taunting Xander, or Marcus accidentally misclicked and deleted his army on accident. Either way, the game is back on. Military numbers are about even. This time, actually, it's Odin that has a slight eco lead. Notice the Raven just chilling in the back, providing a lot of vision. You can actually see... Let's go there. And providing a decent sense of the vision surrounding these units. Notice as well, by the way, let's not ignore the fact that Odin is in H3, Gaia is in H2. It may be that Marcus just feels like he's got this thing in the bag, and that's why those units died. I don't know if he did it on purpose or not, but if he did do it on purpose, that's probably why. The points were definitely in his favor. He has the tech lead, and he knows it. Vikings. Njord causes raiding cav to produce gold in addition to favor while fighting enemy units. Oh, that's amazing. That's cool. We did see earlier, I didn't comment on it, but we saw the walking woods. So the trees came to life, which, if I'm not mistaken, further removes wood from Gaia's base here. So the poor, earth plant goddess is just getting strangled out of her own trees by Odin. Between shrubbery burning to the left and shrubbery getting up and walking away to the right, Guy's in some trouble right now. Ego's about even. Military is still favoring Odin, but not by a lot. Not by a whole lot. It's 22 to 37. I mean, that's a decent advantage. But it wasn't the, 50 to 10 that it was earlier? So, yeah, these guys. I want you to share with me in the comments below. Are the automatons weak? Do they need a buff? To me, and I'm speaking from the humility of somebody who is not a top 100 player in this game. Like, you know, I don't know. I don't have the authority or the experience to say this with any authority. But it seems to me, in my limited experience, that the automatons are weak. Like, the cool thing is they can heal each other. They can rebuild each other if they fall. So, if you win that initial fight, they are really cool, and it'd be very easy to snowball with them. But the problem is in that initial fight, they do seem to go down very easily. They don't serve well as a front line. And what I have found is that if I have archers and automatons against cavalry, for example, the cav can actually smash through the automatons to get to my archers. So they don't seem to be a very good front line. And maybe I'm just using them incorrectly. So somebody let me know in the comments, what's the deal with the automatons? Okay, we almost have double the military count for Odin once again. I think we see where this match is going. Yeah, this is bunch of houses getting built here. So at this moment, we have 95 military for Odin to 44. Once again, Gaia does have an eco lead. Not by much, but there's an eco lead there. But I think that Markus is proving to be the better macro player. I mean, he's got more production buildings, except that his eco has been unharassed. I mean, all the fighting's been on Gaia's side. He has more production buildings. It looks like... Let's switch to his point of view here. Longhouse. So we've got 2 great halls. There's a temple. This is all on 1 TC, by the way. Both players are on 1 TC. And the fight breaks out. These automatons need to fight for their lives against 7 raiding cav. What do we have here? 12 Goldie, 9 Herseer, throwing axemen, heavy raiding cav, the mountain giant. Yeah, Gaia has no military, I'm afraid. Unless Odin just decides to delete his army all over again. I think he's won this. Let's go with the spiders. Good luck having the spiders do anything. This town center. This is the only town center the guy has. Boom. Goes down. And that is hilarious. We see a new town center being built with like the last remaining villagers of Gaia, but it's not going to mean anything. Odin is on it. And Captain1Markus takes game number 1. And here we are in game number 2 of the Kaiser Cup series between Captain1Markus and BigZander. Markus won game 1 against the Atlanteans, and now in game 2 he is the Atlanteans playing Kronos against BigZander as the Greeks as Zeus. This should be a very interesting matchup. You know, I will tell you, I'll introduce this game by saying that unfortunately one of the issues with Age of Mythology Retold, it's one of the best remakes, re-releases, whatever we want to call it, that I've ever seen in gaming. I love what they've done with the game. 90% of it is really good. One of the areas where it's flawed is with the replays right now. At the time that I'm recording this, no patches have come out for Age of Mythology Retold, and the replay system is buggy. Replays tend to crash very often. And this particular replay will unfortunately crash before we get to the end of the match. but not before we figure out who won it. So, we're gonna listen in here. I find this a fascinating matchup because I just featured in my previous Age of Mythology video the Kronos Temple Rush. And I was wondering, you know, would we see these kind of rush plays? And I didn't plan it. I just featured it on the channel. And here we have Kronos using the exact same build order. I'm not saying he watched my video. In fact, I know he didn't. But Kronos, up to, take a look. He's got 5 on food, 1 on gold. As soon as he gets 150 gold, where is it? He's building the temple, right? And I'm thinking we're gonna see a 6th on food. This will be build number 7 on food, and then there's gonna be 1 on gold, and he goes up to the next stage. And if we see that, not to mention, take a look at this oracle right here, moving out close to the enemy base. Yeah, I think we know what's coming. It's so interesting to me too that, you know, Markus's plan in game 1 was more of a, it didn't seem like a particular build. It seemed like he was just going to sit back, build up his economy, build up an army of units, go attack. This is a measured tactic. He's going for a rush, dividing his vills exactly so. I'm going to make this happen. And sure enough, we see the temple being warped over decently close to Zeus's base. What surprises me, the way that I use the Kronos Rush, is I get my oracle really close and I'll put the temple, you know, right beside the action and just jump immediately onto exposed vills. And I'm not saying that's the right way to do it necessarily, but Markus has chosen a little bit more of a defensive play. He's holding his oracle back so the oracle will not be spotted by the sentry towers. And he is about to hit age 2. Once again, Xander kind of spreading out his economy. He's got some bills on wood. He's got some bills on gold. I love how he's able to use the storehouse to set villagers of both resources onto one building. That's a really cool use of the storehouse. We've got 2 Prometheans out. He's not moving forward with them before he builds another one. He's got a 3rd Promethean coming out. Can he actually see? Let's see. If we're taking Markus' point of view. Notice how he's bringing in the military barracks. I wonder if he's going to build the Turma as maybe a support unit here for the Prometheans. Getting those cows. He kills Zeus's scout. Not that that is the end of the world, although you definitely want your scout more often than not. So now these Prometheans are stumbling around trying to find damage. Like, trying to look around the berries? No, there's nothing on the berries. Xander now is on his way up to age 2 as well. Even as I say that, I will say on the flip side, the economy looks really good for Kronos right now. Atlantean economy is always good, especially here in the early game. And the numbers are maybe a little deceptive because the Atlantean citizens count for 2, right? So really it's more like 11 to 8, although the Atlantean vills are worth more. But it does suggest that maybe Xander he's either got a particular strategy in mind that relies on other resources, or he's just slow to get out vills, a little slow to go up to the next age. I love the use of Bolt there. I think that neutralizes a part of the strength of that early Promethean push. It may even be why Markus decided to wait until he got a 3rd Promethean before attacking. Okay. Here we see Prometheans. Okay. Age 2 is up for both players. We have Ceasefire. I am a little bit worried for Xander here. I mean, I think the economy is just not... Like, only 9 bills. And I'm not saying... Okay, I guess there's a 10th on the way. Let's... I'm hitting fast forward up. And there we go. Right. So unfortunately, right there, we just had the game crash. But we can see it was nearly 30 Vils worth on the Atlantean side versus 10 Vils on the Greek side. And that was only with a little bit of pressure from the Atlantean. That means that Markus takes game 1, and he is moving on to the semifinals of the Age of Mythology Kaiser Cup. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. If you did, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and share the comments. Give a shout out to both players. A tip of the hat to both Markus and to Xander for being willing to step into the ring and battle it out. That always takes guts, and they're both heroes in my book for even just stepping up and being willing to battle it out. But Xander goes down. Markus moves on into the Kaiser Cup semifinals. Thanks, guys, so much. Hope you enjoyed it. This is the Iron Kaiser signing off. Have a great one out there.